Okay, let's just jump right in. Now, I know, that title sounds a little nuts, but you gotta stick with me here. See, we're told our whole lives to save, save, save. But what if that's only like half the story? In the economy we're living in right now, just hoarding cash in a bank account is pretty much a guaranteed way to lose. With the Fed canceling rate cuts and new global conflicts popping up, the money you're working so hard to save is literally making you poorer every single day. So, here's the game plan for today. We're going to start by breaking down this economic perfect storm that's brewing. Then, we'll get into exactly why that storm is making your savings account sink. But hey, we are not going to stay in the doom and gloom. We're going to switch gears and look at a real world millionaire's playbook, see how history proves that strategy actually works, and then we'll wrap it all up with a clear plan for turning all this fear into a genuine fortune. All right, first up, the perfect storm. You know that feeling you get when you turn on the news and it feels like you're just being bombarded with negative financial headlines from every single angle? Well, you're not wrong. It's a bunch of different factors all crashing together at once, and it's creating this massive cloud of uncertainty right over your money. And it really all kicks off right here. For months, pretty much everyone was banking on the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates. Make borrowing cheaper, give the economy a little juice. But now, yeah, that's officially off the table. Inflation is just too stubborn, so the Fed is keeping rates right where they are. And that, right there, is just the first gust of wind in this storm. Okay, now let's add this to the mix. We've got geopolitical tensions flaring up, especially around Iran and this tiny little waterway called the Strait of Hormuz. Now, this place is a massive deal. We're talking about a fifth of the entire world's oil supply passing through it every single day. So any little disruption there, it sends an immediate shockwave that zaps the entire global economy. And this is what happens. You combine the uncertainty from the Fed with the threat of a global energy crisis, and what do you get? A totally spooked stock market. Investors hate uncertainty. So we're seeing these huge sell-offs as everyone just rushes for the exits. It is the textbook definition of a perfect storm of financial fear. So, okay, that's the big picture chaos, right? But how does all that drama actually impact the money you've worked so hard to put away? Well, this is where the storm hits your wallet. And it's all because of this hidden tax that is silently eating away at your cash. Economists are starting to throw around this really ugly word, stagflation. And honestly, it's pretty much the worst of all worlds. It means the price of everything is going up, but the economy isn't growing, and people could actually start losing their jobs. It's this nasty economic trap where your money buys you less and less, while at the exact same time, it gets harder to earn more. But here is the absolutely crucial detail about this number. This 2.4% inflation figure, that was from back in February. And that might not sound totally catastrophic, but here's the kicker. This was measured before that recent spike in oil prices we were just talking about. So think of this 2.4% as the baseline, and the new energy costs are about to pour gasoline all over that fire. And this isn't just a guess, by the way. This slide shows the direct link. The Federal Reserve's own research shows that for every $10 the price of oil goes up, inflation climbs by another 0.2%. I mean, think about it, right? Higher gas prices mean it costs more to truck groceries to the store, to ship your packages, to produce basically everything. And that cost gets passed straight on to you, which means the money just sitting in your savings account buys a little bit less every single day. Okay, wow, that was a lot of doom and gloom. But what if all this fear and crisis is actually an opportunity in disguise? Let's totally flip the script. Let's pivot from the problem to a really powerful solution by looking at the real-life story of an investor named Graham Stephan. He's a guy who built his wealth by running toward the fire, not away from it. So get this, Graham started his career as a real estate agent when he was 18, right in the middle of the 2008 financial crisis. I mean, while everyone else was panicking, he was out there working. By the time he was 21, he had saved over $200,000. But, and this is the key part, he didn't just let that cash sit there. He used it to buy rental properties for dirt cheap, places that other people were desperate to get rid of. And by age 26, he was a millionaire. His mindset at the beginning was probably something a lot of us can relate to. He was super frugal. I mean, he was hoarding every single dollar he made. He'd get a massive $70,000 commission check, and he didn't see luxury. He saw it in terms of how many Subway sandwiches and tanks of gas it could buy. He was an absolute master at saving money. But this is the pivot. He realized that saving alone wasn't security.
That inconsistency in his income made him nervous. I mean, a big pile of cash is great, but it doesn't grow. It doesn't produce more cash on its own. So he made that critical shift from just saving money to using that money to buy assets, in his case, rental properties, that generated their own income. He literally turned his savings into a money-making machine.
Now, Graham's story is incredible, for sure. But was he just a fluke, a one-off? Or is what he did part of a bigger, repeatable pattern? Well, let's pull back the camera and look at decades of market history, which proves that this strategy of buying when there's fear in the streets is backed up by cold, hard data. Just look at this pattern. It's amazing. The Great Depression, a staggering 83% drop, was followed by 14 years of growth. Black Monday in '87, followed by 13 years of growth. The 2008 crisis that Graham jumped on, that kicked off the longest bull market ever. And even the crazy sharp COVID crash was followed by a 120% surge in the years after. The lesson from history couldn't be more clear. Every single major crash, in hindsight, has been a massive buying opportunity. And hey, it's not just about these huge, once-in-a-generation crashes. Check this out. This data from the Carson Group looked at dozens of scary geopolitical events just like the ones we're seeing today. And yeah, the market usually takes a little hit in the first month. But just 6 months later, on average, it's actually up over 3%. History shows us time and time again that panic selling is almost always the wrong move. Okay, so we've looked at the storm, we've seen how it hurts people who just save, and we've seen how smart investors have historically turned these exact moments into incredible opportunities. So now let's bring it all home. Let's boil all of this down into a simple but really powerful philosophy that you can actually use. Really, it all comes down to a fundamental shift in your mindset. It's not just a 3-step plan, it's a new way of thinking about money. So first, yeah, you still need to live frugally, just like Graham did. You have to build that base of capital. You can't invest money you don't have, right? Second, you invest consistently. Forget about trying to perfectly time the bottom. Just keep buying methodically, especially when the market is down, because that's when everything is on sale. And finally, and this is the most important part, you have to embrace the long-term view. Think in decades, not days, and trust that historical pattern that the market always eventually recovers and hits new highs. So let's end on this one thought. The 24/7 news cycle, its whole business model, is designed to sell one thing above all else: fear. It's what keeps you watching, keeps you worried, keeps you panicking about the latest crisis. So the real question is, are you going to buy into that fear? Are you going to let it paralyze you? Or are you going to see the fear of other people as the very thing that creates your opportunity? That choice is yours.